Yay!
Welcome to this meeting of Toastmasters. Please help me warmly welcome Will Burns, our president.
Rhonda, thanks again. Welcome guests, viewers at home, and fellow Toastmasters. In joining me in embracing the mission of Toastmasters to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment.
Yay!
Has the opportunity to develop oral communication and leadership skills.
Preach
In
it.
turn, foster self-confidence and personal growth.
Amen. Amen.
Now it is my great pleasure to introduce our Toastmaster, Jeff Shipley.
Yo!
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm the Toastmaster tonight. I'm steering this ship. It's my primary responsibility to get us out here on time, and I take that very seriously. So let me introduce our role players for this evening. We have our counter will be played by Satish Sababati. Would you please explain your role?
Thank you, Toastmaster. My role today is to listen to every speaker here today and make a record of the filler words they use, like like, you know, so, but, and tongue click, pause, repeats, and false starts. And at the end of the meeting, I'll give a report.
Yay!
Next, we will hear from our lovely grammarian, Darlene Martin.
Yay!
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. So as grammarian, I give the word of the day, which is clairvoyant. And the definition is a person who claims to have a supernatural ability to perceive events in the future beyond normal sensory contact. The Come on up, Ed, if you can.
Well,
The sentence is, Sally went to see a clairvoyant to predict what the new year had in store for her.
Yay!
Also, I will be listening to the language used by members during the meeting. I'm going to make note of any exceptionary good or bad uses of English language, and I will give a brief report at the end.
Yay! Ha!
Next, our very talented timer, Mr. Jesus Rios. Could you please explain your position?
I will be taking time of anybody that goes to the lectern and does any kind of speech. Table topics will run for 1 to 2 minutes. The green light will be turned on at 1 minute. The yellow light at 1 minute and 30 seconds. And the red light at 2 minutes, and it will remain on until the end of the speech. Prepared speeches will run for 7 minutes. The green light will turn on at 5 minutes. The yellow will be turned on at 6 minutes. The red light will be turned on at 7 minutes, and it will continue on until the end of the speech. Table topic evaluator will run for 3 minutes. 2 minutes the green light will be turned on. 2 minutes and 30 seconds the yellow light will be turned on, and at 3 minutes the red light will come on, and it will remain on until the end of the speech. Speech evaluators, my bad. Everybody has 30 seconds after the red light comes on, and I will give a report at the end of the meeting, and I can foresee that it's going to be a great meeting.
Yo!
Thank you, Mr. Timer. Also of note, the very esteemed and wise Mr. Atkinson for providing general evaluations in the meeting, and also William Burns will be providing a joke for us at the end.
Ha!
Now, I would like to turn our meeting over to Ms. Stephanie Chambers, and she will lead the table topics portion of the meeting.
Okay, fitting with the theme, I have some questions. Would anyone like to participate?
Oh, you?
Not you again.
Ah!
I'll get it next time. I have a feeling. I see something in the future. I see it.
What number would you like for the 26?
Let's go with 6.
Okay. How would you teach someone to be clairvoyant?
Ha!
Fellow Toastmasters, honored and distinguished guests, and viewers at home. Clairvoyant is defined as a person who claims to have a supernatural ability to perceive events in the future beyond normal sensory contact. How would I teach this? How would I extend a mere mortal's abilities into the supernatural? I would start with an admission that many of us, I dare say that almost all of us, are not engaging our senses fully. How many of you today, when you had your lunch, really took the time to savor every little bit of taste, the smell of the food as it... How many of you really took time to really savor your food today? Show of hands. Got Tom, I got a few. Yeah, okay. That's a good start. How many of you mindfully attended to each step you took? The feeling of the gravel, the pavement, our perfect streets here in Fairfield, Iowa. Mindfulness is practiced by only a few. But yet, the world that we experience is so vast beyond that. So my answer as teacher is to engage the abilities that you already have latently within you. To see, to smell, to taste, and just to touch. And feel that deep connection that we have with the world. Madam Table Topics Master.
Yeah, sit up front, stop.
Anyone else like to participate? Okay.
Finally!
I see. I could see that it was my time.
Okay.
It's a clairvoyant thing, I guess.
1 to 5?
1 to 5. What did he choose?
You chose 6.
5. I'm gonna choose 5.
Okay. What do you wish your father taught you?
Oh.
What do I wish my father had taught me? Fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home, any guests? Hello, welcome. I was just thinking about my father today. We have 2 boarding students, one from China, one from Mexico. 17 years old and 18 years old. At our home, we eat certain food, and they just eat more of it. But in addition to eating more of the food that we eat, we also buy things that we normally wouldn't buy, like white bread. Because they love to eat a lot of food and they enjoy white bread. And it occurred to me today, a memory of my father. My father, he was a character, I think is how people might talk about my father, a character. His best friend, the man who, at one point in Arizona, carried him over his shoulder to the hospital because he and my father had attended a seminar where the teacher at the seminar said, "You can accomplish anything with your mind," and my father said, "I don't need this insulin. I'll use my mind." And his best friend
carried him to the hospital 3 hours later. A character. And I remember the white bread. We were having dinner with my grandparents, my paternal grandparents, and they usually served roast and mashed potatoes and Jell-O salad, but they never served white bread, homemade wheat bread. And my grandmother said, you know, I read that white bread has the same nutritional value as toilet paper. Now my father is a character, and he called me up the next day, and I answered the phone, and he said, yeah, but you don't wipe your ass with white bread. There are a lot of things I wish I'd learned from my father. But the one thing I did learn was how to be a character.
Would anyone else like to participate? Guests are allowed as well. Yes.
1 to 4. What do you think? How clairvoyant are you? I'm thinking of a number. You're not very clairvoyant. It's 3. They're very good. Very good. She's the clairvoyant. But you can give me 2. I won't know the difference.
I'll give you 3.
Okay.
What was something your favorite teacher taught you?
Oh.
Which favorite teacher should I choose? It's actually pretty easy. I think everybody has one teacher. I hope they do. That really changed their life and made a difference for them. And for me, the 6th grade, Mrs. Michael, her name was shortened, I can't remember what it was Mrs. Michael, but she was an incredible teacher. Why? Because she found a way to appreciate me and acknowledge me in a way that I had no idea. Until that time, I was a kid in the class, like a bunch of other kids in the class, and all of a sudden she started treating me differently. She tried to treated me special, and the other kids noticed this too, and it wasn't like I was a teacher's pet or anything like that, but she saw something in me that was a seed of greatness, a seed of leadership, a seed of intelligence, and she found a way to nurture that in a very, very powerful way. So I have told this story many, many times, but the fact is, years later I met her son, and I told her what a great teacher her mother was. Kids I went to elementary school, they remember this teacher. We had a lot of great teachers. But she was the best because she turned a switch on in me. I realized I'm special, I'm appreciated, and I'm actually pretty smart. And she's the one that kind of like put all that together to put me on a road to some greatness. Thank you very much.
We're done.
That's it?
What's that?
Okay, next time you can try your hands at this. So now I'll hand you over to
Now who'd vote?
our,
Find out who's qualified.
I'll find out who qualified.
Yes, all the speakers qualified.
All the speakers
Read them
qualified.
off.
Seth Brown, Bert Chibnowski, Will Burns.
You could just take a few moments and write down who you thought. Okay, now I'll hand you over to the Table Topics Evaluator, John Rose.
Thank you. Favorite topics, master. Okay. Golden
distinguished speakers, honored guests, and viewers at home. I have the privilege of evaluating the three table topic speakers who all did a fantastic job. We'll start with Will Burns. Will Burns' subject was, how would you teach someone to be clairvoyant? All right, now that's a tough question. And he did very well. He gave a good intro by re-asking the question again out loud. How would I do that? He gave some examples about being in the moment, having mindfulness, and chewing your food. Mother always told you chew your food. Little did we know she wanted us to be clairvoyant. Also, walking on the gravel, feeling the gravel, it was very, very good. Being in the moment. And I got really excited. But what happened was, you ran out of time, Will, and you didn't wrap it up, you didn't tie it in. Now, how does mindfulness create clairvoyance? I mean, I saw where you were going, some bridge. And, but I think if you'd have more time, you would have brought it back around. But I really enjoyed how confident you were, how you projected your voice. You had me believing in clairvoyance, which, you know, is very good. Then Seth's question was, what did he wish that his father had taught him? I believe that was it. I really liked how you you started out with something as simple as white bread. I mean, we could all relate to white bread. Wonder bread builds body 12 ways. All right? That commercial kept coming back. And then you took the bread, you weaved this nice story, and then you brought the bread back at the end. It was really good. And I really liked the wrap up. And I saw at the end there that you double wrapped up because you like hesitated and then you really hit us with he made me a character. I mean, that really was good. We didn't see that coming, and all of a sudden, boom, oh, that was the story. Excellent. That was very good. Bert had a great question. What was his favorite teacher, and what did they teach him? And I think we can all relate to that. We all went to school, we all had teachers and mentors in our life, and probably the hardest thing is, which teacher do I pick, and what did they teach me? And what I liked was that he used his hands to denote numbers. He said, my best teacher, 6th grade. I liked that. I liked that. And what happened was that you wrapped it up really well. But what I would like to have seen was, how did she turn that switch of greatness on? I know you ran out of time, but that's really where I wanted to go. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, or the Toastmaster, Mr. Toastmaster.
What a wonderful table topic segment. Now we're moving on to really the heart of our meeting, the prepared speeches. So I will call up Seth Braun, who will be reading the objectives for Rahul Burns. Thanks for being Seth.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home, Rahul. Rahul's been a member of Toastmasters for a year and a half already. He hails from India. Yeah. He came to Fairfield 5 years ago. He works at Genetic ID. He's been working there for more than 4 years. Rahul enjoys learning and living. He tries to learn from everyone, tries to teach and share what he's learned. And today he'd like to share with us lessons he's learned from his role model in a talk entitled My Role Model. It's project number 2 from the Competent Communicator Manual, Organize Your Speech. We'll be looking for intro, body, and conclusion. Please help me enthusiastically welcome Rahul Box.
Thank
Thank you, Seth. Thank you for a great introduction. Good evening, friends, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and viewers at home. My name is Rahul Vats. I want to ask you 3 simple questions today before I go about with my speech. Most everyone has a role model. They could be a parent, teacher, friend, a famous personality, whom they idolize, whom they respect, whom they want to be like. I would give my speech based on 3 questions which I'm asking you now. Who is your role model? Do you have a role model? Art, who's your role model?
Michael Johnson.
Michael. Why is he or she your role model?
Integrity, vision, energy, long list.
So those are the 2 questions that everybody can have an answer to. The 3rd question is, what will you do to serve your purpose, to serve the purpose of your role model? Friends, I would say your role model could be any person that you could learn something from. And I'm very privileged to have meet so many awesome, wonderful people in my life from whom I've learned so many different beautiful things. Some are present right here in this very club. Tom Trainer, he can be role model for anyone. He certainly is one of mine, a double Toastmaster. Double TTM. What does that stand for, Tom?
Distinguished Toastmaster.
Distinguished Toastmaster. And that too 2 times. 2 times. Something, when I joined Toastmaster, I was not very much aware of, but something that I aspire to be someday. Seth Run, a well-known author, best-selling author, a person whose speeches draw audience spellbound and keep them looking for more. As a speaker, I would certainly like to have some qualities that Seth had. So, role model for me is any person that you can learn something from and would want to be like. Now it brings me to the person that I wanted to talk about this night. My role model, who has been my role model for a long, long period of time. From the time that I could understand what world is all about, I can understand what's good, what's bad. I can understand, okay, this is something that I want to do. And I'm very honored that he's present with us here tonight. He's Ripunjay Bhargav, sitting right there in the audience with us today as a guest. Ripunjay Bhargav has been my role model ever since my father started telling me that you should be like him. At that time, it was not in the true feeling and spirit of being a role model. Maybe in a sense of competition, that okay, if he can do these things, why can't I? If he can get good grades, why can't I? If he can be a state level boxing champion, why can't I? If he can play cricket that well, why can't I? It started as that. It grew up, and reached a point where we went separate ways. He went to his law school and I went to an engineering one. For a period of time, we were not in touch with each other. We were not in contact with each other. Then, in 2009, I was already here in the United States and he came to Eugene, Oregon. And he came to study environmental law at the University of Oregon, Eugene. And I met him again. And I shared all my childhood experiences that I had with him once again and relived my childhood with him
on a trip to Florida. On that time, I realized that the seed of thought which was ingrained into me by my father at a very young age, which I was not very clearly able to understand and comprehend, and took it in the sense of competition at that time, could give me a person who I really proud and would aspire to be one. The real reason, I haven't seen many people in the world who have always followed their heart. But in my life, the only person that I've seen has gone out of the way in this world to follow his dream, to follow what his heart says, is Rapunzel. And that's why I would want to be like him. He is my brother. And I say to you on this stage that I really aspire to be like you. He is my role model. At last, I would like to say this sentence once again so that it's very clear that the only reason he's my role model is because he has the guts and the courage to follow what his heart says. And one lesson that I've not yet really learned in my life and practiced is to be able to follow my heart. That's something that I learned from him and aspire to do in my life. So thank you for being my role model, Mr. Rapunzel.
Now we will take 2 minutes to evaluate the speaker. Now we will hear from Jean Symington Craig. She will introduce our next speaker, Slobodan Domosliski.
Yo!
Fellow Toastmasters, guests, and viewers at home. Slobodan is going to be doing project number 5 from the Competent Communicator Manual, Your Body Speaks. His objectives are to use stance, movement, gestures, facial expressions, and eye contact to express his message and achieve his speech's purpose. He's also to make his body language smooth and natural. Slobodan joined Toastmasters last spring. He is a recovering engineer and is learning how to stop solving problems which probably never existed. He was originally from Yugoslavia and now Macedonia, and for the last 20 years has been in the US. He has a degree in electrical engineering and a master's degree in computer science from NYU. This is his 5th speech, and the title is Delivering Value to the Economy Class. Delivering Value to the Economy Class. Please help me warmly welcome Slobodan.
Good evening, fellow members, viewers at home, and honored guests. Does anybody get a guess? Perfect. How many of you would like to enjoy more comfort when you fly in economy class? Me too. Are the other guys flying?
Was the word comfort or confidence?
Comfort.
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 Yes, comfort.
Thank you, me too. I was lucky to fly in a business class a couple of times in my life. And now that's comfort. You have this extremely comfortable seat that changes into a bed. You have this gourmet type of food, which is really delicious. And then you have this top-notch entertaining system next to it. And that's all 30,000 miles above in the air. Did I mention all of the drinks too? They're free. Now that's when I was introduced to big screen TVs which are personalized for each seat individually. And then with time, I realized that the whole process was evolving, and now almost every single overseas flight has those same, well, not necessarily the same, smaller, but still quite good personalized TVs. And recently I went to LA. And I was flying from Denver to LA, and I was really pleasantly surprised to see they also had this small personalized TVs. Now they were smaller, but this was a economy class, don't forget, right? The interface was simplified, so you can see a trailer that kept on showing the same commercials and the same things that you can choose. However, you had to pay for $4.99 for that. Well, it's not even $5. It's only $4.99. But I still said I'll pass. I was planning to relax. And this, my friends, is when I found out there was no off button. You couldn't turn it off. You're glued sitting right there. There's no way to move. You know, economy class, it's really tight. You had to look at this screen and keep repeating the same things over and over. After a while, I could see the same images with my eyes closed. I tried to look around, and guess what? All the other screens were playing the same images. I tried to look through the window, only to see the reflections of those images back. Somehow, I found out that if I keep pushing that brightness button to 0, I can dim the light enough so I don't see any images. Finally, I could relax. I was back in my seat, I'm in economy class. It wasn't probably 2 minutes when the screen came on, full power, again. And guess what? They were the same images coming back. There was no way around it. I'm not home. So, at that time, I was kind of desperate. There was nothing else to do. I was probably too nervous moving around, and maybe I turned that button again and triggered that TV on. Or maybe it was just programmed that way. I was asking, you know, what kind of a value is it delivering to me right now? Because after all, the purpose of business is to deliver value, right?
Yes.
But the question is to whom? In this case, it wasn't delivering any value to me, unless it was some kind of divine prophecy or this karmic, mind-boggling idea that I wasn't getting. And then suddenly, I looked around and I saw nobody else was bothered by this. Everybody was going around with their own stuff. Like nothing was wrong. And I could just barely stay looking there at the same screen over and over. Nobody really cared about it. And then boom, it hit me. This was all my fault. See, about 3 years ago, I threw away my TV.
Hell yeah, you did.
And I never watched the TV again after that. So at this point, I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for all this information to keep coming at me in a case when I cannot move left or right. I'm just stuck with the TV. So I know what I'm going to do next time. I'm going to get ready. I'm going to go to the new Walmart and keep walking next to those screens, you know, several times up and down until I get desensitized. So I can be next to a TV without reacting to it. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if the technology will improve comfort in the economy zone, but I know that the business will take a stab at your wallet anytime it gets a chance. Thank you.
Thank you, Slobodan. We'll now take another 2 minutes to evaluate the speaker. Welcome back. Now I'd like to call up Cindy Traynor to read the objectives for Bert Chinowski.
Bert this evening is doing number 9 from the Confident Communicators Manual, Persuade with Power. In his objectives, persuade with power, he's to persuade us, imagine that, to adapt his viewpoint or ideas or to take some action. I think this is a perfect one for Bert tonight. Appeal to the audience's interests, to use logic and emotion to support his position, and to avoid using notes. Now, have you ever seen Bert use notes? I don't even think he knows what the word notes mean as far as using notes in Toastmasters. To introduce Bert, he said, oh, just say something. Are you ready? I haven't known Bert that long, but I do know he's involved in something called a TED project. He likes to really get involved with community stuff. He's an entrepreneur and a very interesting man. Please join me in warmly welcoming Bert tonight.
I've been sitting here with a question on my mind. What is the antonym of clairvoyant? Is it muddy? Girl giant? Is it someone who looks in the rearview mirror? Anybody?
The opposite of clairvoyant?
Yes.
Dirty voyeur.
Anybody from this side?
Money blindness.
Diabolic. Anyway, I was intrigued by that. What would be the opposite of clairvoyant? Possibly somebody who's can see into the past.
See.
And see clearly into the past. That's kind of an opposite, but it's not a complete opposite. But certainly an opposite of direction. Okay. This is a prepared speech, number 9, part of my 10-step program that I encourage you all to embrace. And by the time you're at the 9th step, you should be comfortable before the audience. You should be able to speak without notes. And what I've realized is, whatever I prepared, if I cover half of it, it'd probably be a pretty good speech. But if I only do 25%, it'll be a great speech! So, what I wanted to talk about was how joining Toastmasters is kind of like joining the Navy. Why? What's the motto? What was always been the model of joining the Navy? You get to see the world. Think about it tonight. We've had a speaker from India. We've had a speaker from Yugoslavia/Macedonia. And then we have me. I'm a native Iowan by marriage. But the fact is, the last couple of weeks, especially last week, I went home, I couldn't get to sleep because the speeches were so good and they took me all around the world. The week before, Stephen Harper, he took us to Crete. He actually took us to heaven. Yeah?
Yeah.
Then, last week, I'll never forget the smell of Nepal on Jyoti Raj's fingers. And I've been to Nepal. Very, very cool. So we get to go to exotic places with incredibly exotic people just by joining Toastmasters and sitting in this room. But it also is literal. I know in the last year, I've almost circled the globe, crisscrossed the country, and I give them the credit for that to Toastmasters, to a great degree. Both business, professional, personal. I've noticed a little bit of growth. And I noticed in the last speakers in the last tonight and the last week or so, I kind of see where people have come from now and see where they've gone, and it's a phenomenal thing. So Toastmasters, guests, viewers at home, I wanted to share just a little bit of my journey in terms of travel this year. Stephen Harper talked about sacred places. I went to Assisi. I went to Florence with the idea of I wanted to do a little bit of research on how Fairfield connects with the city of peace, because we're a city of peace, and the Renaissance city, because we're a Renaissance city. And I got a little bit of that. And I was on my way to Doha. Why? Because I got invited to speak at the TEDx Summit. And part of the TEDx Summit was, and don't you think Toastmasters would have helped with this? They opened the mic for people to share their most audacious ideas in 3 sentences.
Oh,
Guess who was the first one on the stage?
yo.
Of course!
Heck yeah.
And I was prepared because I thought, okay, 3 sentences? Talk about narrowing it down and packaging it. It was very, very powerful, very effective. I got invited to speak at TEDx Khartoum, which is in the Sudan. Fortunately, I didn't have to go there, but we did videotaped it and they broadcast it there. Anyway, I've been to Silver City, New Mexico. I've been to Flagstaff, Arizona to teach entrepreneurship to 300 or 400 kids as part of a Innovation Summit. Was the keynote speaker there. I spoke at the Rural Futures Conference in Lincoln, Nebraska, the Economic Development Association in Indiana. I've even been to Maysville, Kentucky. And most recently, I got invited to go to Saskatoon. Anybody know where Saskatoon is? Canada.
Huh.
Saskatchewan. Let me just ask briefly, quickly. Anybody here find some kind of professional or personal growth you wanted to chime in with?
From Toastmasters?
Yes.
Absolutely, I want to chime in.
Okay, go ahead.
Can I just come up and take over for the rest of your time? Just kidding.
Be brief. In 3 sentences.
I was a good speaker. I joined Toastmasters. I became a great speaker.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Yo!
Thank you. Anybody from this side?
I was an inconclusive, umming, disorganized speaker who's learned to control the filler words and get to the point and share from my heart.
Thank you.
Yo!
I've been able to achieve some of my goals in life, professionally and personally, but I've got a couple of interesting things coming up that I wanted to persuade you folks to embrace. One is, Cindy mentioned TED. TEDx Fairfield is coming up April 7th. This is like our 7th or 8th TEDx event in Fairfield. We've packed the house, Cafe Paradiso, TEDx Fairfield Live, phenomenal thing. We're also teaming up with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and TED to have a program on positive disruption on April 3rd. It's a 90-minute program. Also working on a program that I call Pure K. We're teaming up with Skillshare to provide a platform for speakers and experts in Fairfield to expand their audience worldwide. I invite you to embrace that as well. Thank you very much.
Yo!
Thank you very, very much for sharing those excellent ideas, the event invitations, and reminding us why we all come here every week. We'll now take 2 minutes to evaluate the speaker. Now we'll be voting for best speaker. Timer, did everyone qualify?
2 the speakers qualified: Rahul Bats, Slobodan Domolisky.
I'm sorry, I don't understand. Who qualified?
Rahul and Slobodan.
Rahul.
Bert did not.
Now I'm going to turn over our meeting to the general evaluator, Mr. Art Atkinson, to lead us during our evaluations.
Yo!
I'd like to first call Seth to offer us his evaluation of Rahul's presentation.
Absolutely. Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home, and especially Rahul. Your speech introduction set up your content well, and that is a lesson for everybody. Simple introduction that described what was going to happen in the speech. It said, role model, I'm going to tell you about it, good, we know, and then he hits the ground running. So well done for making your introduction part of your speech. Since this was project number 2, I was looking at the structure of your speech. I thought your introduction was strong. I thought you outlined the topic. Did everyone have a clear sense of what he was talking about from his introduction? Did anyone not? Was anyone confused from his introduction? So everyone here knew what you were talking about. You had 3 questions. Who's your role model? Why are they your role model? And what would you do to enact the qualities that your role model has? Powerful, great introduction. I'm going to comment more on the structure, but I want to kind of keep going on things that I liked. I liked that it was heartfelt and authentic. How many of you saw Rahul and said, that's Rahul, that's nobody else, I get it, that's who he is? Yeah. What would I improve? Now I'm going to go back to the structure, because the introduction was very strong. I even thought the body was strong because you brought in live examples. You referred to Tom and to myself, and that was very engaging because we're here in the room with you. And then you got into some wonderful, juicy content about your brother, and you really opened up and shared about your brother, and then you juxtaposed why he's not a role model, why he could have been, because my father said, you should be like him, but that wasn't really it. What was really it, because he follows his heart. That's a great way to set it up. You told us about your brother. We learned that he was a boxer, he was in cricket, and that he got good grades, and you competed against him in some of these things. Wonderful stories, right?
Yep.
Engaging. So where I think you can improve is on the conclusion. Take me back. Take me back to the 3 questions. So in conclusion, my role model is my brother. Why? It's not because my father told me he should be. It's because he follows his heart. And what am I doing to enact those qualities? I'm giving you this speech today to share my heart with you, Mr. Toastmaster. That was an example. An example of what I'm suggesting. Threw off the timer. That's kind of fun. So my conclusion is, I love the heartfelt presence, great stories, improve your conclusion, tie it back, and thank you for always sharing your heart and being inspired by your brother, Mr. General Evaluator.
Next, let's have Jean to offer her evaluation of Slobodan's talk.
Ha! Ha!
Warm it up.
I like to warm up a little bit when I'm evaluating project number 5, Your Body Speaks. Fellow Toastmasters, guests, viewers at home, particularly Slobodan. I'm going to go right through the points from the manual. Topic selection. I felt this could have been a little improved. In fact, it was almost the anti-movement story. I'm boxed in, I'm in economy class, I can't move, and I'm glued to a TV that I don't want to watch. It's a little hard to do movement in that. It was an interesting choice. Possibly a different story, something that you could be a little more free with your body. Preparation, though, was excellent. You had a progression of exasperating moments as you went through time on this trip. Manner was confident, posture was, I felt satisfactory. Sometimes it's a little too casual for me. I think you could be a little more inhabiting your body a little bit more. Gestures, you'd improve, I think, if you got your gestures out of this mid-range. If you could be sitting in some other class in economy, which is, this is all you can move anyway. Because you did a lot of movements in here, some points, but not as much as if you were up here and down here. Eye contact, I thought you made some good contacts. I saw you making connections with people. That was really good. Facial, friendly, animated. Purpose, wasn't clear on the purpose. You just started, and so my suggestion would be, this is just an idea, me riffing on your topic. As a result of the experiences that I'm about to share with you, my goal is to persuade you, whenever possible, to walk or drive to your destination. Something that sets this up, and then you can go into the story. Because I didn't know where we were, I didn't know quite what the purpose was of this. Organization was good, chronological organization. Now another improvement, this is something, I felt your opening could be a lot stronger. So try this. Fasten your seatbelts. We're happy to have you flying with us today. So happy, we're going to torture you for the entire trip. And then launch in. Something that catches us. Okay. Suggestion. And then finally the humor. This is what I really liked. The humor was pretty funny because we've all been in situations, not even necessarily on airplanes, where you are stuck and you are out, don't have any control over what's happening, and someone is controlling you. So we could all relate to that, and actually I've been on a flight where that same thing happened, so I was recent and I could really relate. You obviously enjoyed the humor of your speech. You seemed to have fun giving it. So with those a couple of suggestions, I think it would be really improved and really a great thing to give for the group. Thank you.
Now, Cindy, would you like to come and
Yes, Cindy.
offer your evaluation?
Yeah.
Fellow Toastmasters, honored and distinguished guests, and viewers at home, but most especially Bert. Persuade with power. Were you persuaded? You persuaded that Toastmasters really has an impact.
Yes.
It certainly has an impact on Bert's life, personal and private and business. Life with Toastmasters, that was Bert's topic of his speech. Life with Toastmasters. And because Bert is already speaking at quite a good level of expertise and technical ability, I'd like some feedback from you, Seth, and other members of the audience about things that you liked, what Bert did, and as well as things where he could improve. I think Bert definitely speaks as a credible source of information on this topic. He's done numerous TED Talks, and it really shows. I liked how he used the stage. He came out here right into the middle, got more personal with everybody, at least, you know, good eye contact. Did that pull you into his speech?
Yes.
Did you
Yes,
feel?
yes.
Did you feel included in this talk?
Yes.
It was great. I felt that Bert's speech gave us a lot of things that we could do as far as being with our self-interest and appeal, self-interest and appeal as far as improvement, using Toastmasters to get more done and being able to do it succinctly, which I'm struggling to do right now. Did the opening catch your interest? Did Bert's opening catch your interest? Yes. And he uses facts and logical reasoning to support his views, how his business has gone a lot better with the use of Toastmasters. Was his speech organized? It did, it had nice logical flow all the way from beginning to end. What I was kind of curious, I don't know, it could be just me, but when Bert's up here, to me he comes across, he puts me back in the seat in this giant lecture hall when I was in college. Is that okay with your audience?
Like college.
In college, yeah.
Good.
This professor, he kind of comes across as you're a professor and back in this, 500-seat lecture hall. No, I don't find anything wrong with that, but that just brings back those memories. So it's just an observation. I don't know if you want to come across that way or not with your talks. But that's why I'm mentioning it, because that's how it strikes me. But I like how you used the stage, how you came out front. What I really liked about your speech was that you tied Toastmasters to your success and you gave lots of examples of how that was accomplished. Mr. General Evaluator.
Okay, Mr. Timer, have all 4 of our evaluators qualified? That would include our table topics evaluator, John Loros, and Seth, and Jean, and Cindy.
Everybody qualified.
Everybody qualified?
John Loros, Seth Brown, Jean Symington, and Cindy Trainer.
Okay, so I'm ready for you to choose tonight's best evaluator.
Yeah.
Thank you for voting. Now I would like to hear reports from our role players, starting with our timer, Jesus.
Table topics, Will Burns, 2 minutes. Seth Brown, 2 minutes and 60 seconds. Bert Chiknowski, 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Prepare speeches, Raoul Batz, 7 minutes. Slobodan Musliski, 5 minutes and 36 seconds. Bert Chiknowski, 7 minutes and 45 seconds. Table topics evaluator, John Loros, 3 minutes and 5 seconds. Speech evaluators, Seth Brown, 3 minutes and 27 seconds. Jean Symington, 3 minutes and 5 seconds. Cindy Trainer, 3 minutes and 29 seconds. That's my report. Thank you.
All right.
Now, our Satish would tell us.
Thank you, Art. So I have Darlene here with 1 so. She started with the so. Set 1 tongue click. John, 5 R's and 3 ands and 1 you know. Rahul, 2 ands and 1 sigh. I don't know, I noted that. Slobodan, 2 ums, 1 so, 1 and 2 repeats. Cindy, 2 ums, 1 and. Bert, 1 so and 1 repeat. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, if our grammarian Darlene would give us her report.
Word of the day users. Stephanie used the clairvoyant once. Will also used it once. Bert was the winner, using it 4 times. And John also used it twice. These are some things I noted as creative language. Will said, mere morals ability. See, taste, smell, touch, deep connection. Seth, I don't need this insulin. I'll use my mind. White bread has the same nutritional value as toilet paper. But you don't wipe your ass with white bread. Bert, she saw in me a seed of greatness, leadership, and intelligence. And also in your speech, the 2 words, positive disruption. Raul, draws audience spellbound, and he has the guts and courage to follow what his heart says. Slobodan. All of this 3,000 miles above the air. And also, after a while, I can see the images with my eyes closed. And Jean, I like to warm up when I'm evaluating the body gestures. Thank you, Mr. Evaluator.
Now it's time for that special moment when our joke master sallies forth.
All right.
Joke.
Thank you, Art. I'm going to go with my favorite joke, because I always love that one. So the spiritual seeker goes up to the hot dog vendor and says, make me one with everything. So he goes in there, whips everything up together, puts it all on there. Says, okay, that'll be $2.50. Guy gives him a $5 and pockets it. Guy says, well, hey, where's my change? Change must come from within.
That is a gem for sure. My own comments. When I was being offered the role of grammarian frequently, I was advised to choose adjectives and adverbs as words of the evening to facilitate their use by anyone in any context. And recently, we've departed from that. We've had a lot of word of the evenings that were difficult to integrate into any but a few speeches. So I would suggest that we remember that adverbs, things that modify how a verb is, quickly is an adverb. He ran quickly. Adjectives, describing noun. These are very flexible words of the evening, and I encourage that we all use them when we're called upon to be the grammarian. I won't belabor the disorganized start we had, but it's probably the low point of starting one of our meetings in 5 years of my being a member.
No pressure.
And it's a collective failing. There was a lot of things that did not happen correctly for the meeting to start. We started 10 minutes late, according to that clock. We did, however, catch up. It's amazing how that happened, but by the time we were done with table topics, we were on time. So we did manage to compress table topics, apparently, and catch it up. And it stayed on time throughout the rest of the meeting. And if I stop speaking quickly, we will remain on time. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mr. Atkinson, for the very honest feedback. You, Matthew, something to say?
Yes, I'd like to say something. I'd like to apologize to the group, especially to Bert, because I made a mistake. I deprived Mr. Chugnowski the opportunity to be elected the winner of the prepared speech. I did notice that he requested from 7 to 9 minutes, and I timed him for 5 to 7 minutes. Therefore,
we appreciate your apology. Bert, you know you're a great speaker well enough that you don't necessarily need an external award to confirm that. Is there a certain protocol we do to take care of this? No?
Just give him a trophy.
Yeah!
In the back and give it to him.
Well, he's getting a ribbon anyway. We appreciate your honesty. We appreciate your very honest feedback. And yeah, we're almost ready to get out of here on time. I'll take credit for getting the meeting back on track. And let us present. Let us present our awards. Drum roll. The best table topic tonight was Seth Rock.
Yay!
Oh, you get a trophy?
He gets a trophy too. Wow.
do.
The recognition is
Because
enough.
we do the little capture.
Yes, yes, yes.
Just say it.
I'm going to dedicate this award to Bert Chanowski.
If you guys would be so kind to give me another drum roll, I have the best speaker. Slow down.
Yo!
Very prestigious award. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Truly
I'm
amazing.
dedicating this to Bert. To Seth.
All right, one more drum roll. Please welcome up our best evaluator, Gene Samuel Craig.
Again?
I think it's just a distraction. I think that's what it is.
And I'd like to dedicate this to.
All right. And if I could please get Mr. Chanowski up here to accept his number 9 ribbon, Rahul, for your acceptance speech.
I'd like to dedicate this to me.
And slow down, you get a ribbon as well. And finally, I'd like to close this meeting on a strong note with our president, Will Burns.
Yo!
Thank you, Jeff. And I will close the meeting. However, first, I want to remind you, we have a special meeting coming up, the 12th of February, 7:30, in this very room. We have the flyers back here.
Yes.
So, tell your friends, tell your enemies. Hopefully they can come here, they can bond with us and become your friends.
Get that on the
Yeah.
Friends.
Can I have one to put up?
Perhaps you.
We got a whole bunch of them back
In this
here.
magnanimous show here, I'll give this one to you. In the spirit of this meeting. And there's
Any
many more
chance
back
that there's more of these?
There's one back
Lots more.
here. Right there,
Yeah.
right there with Tom.
Thanks to John Loros.
John did this.
Oh, thank you.
Frontline printing for all your printing needs.
That's right. We also have copy, which is written by Seth Braun. Thank you very much, Seth, for that.
Best-selling copy.
So we're going to ask you to go out there, promote, and also we'll be doing we'll be bringing in some food items, and we'll basically, I'll cover that more as we get closer, because at this point,
Just don't bring any cake.
no cake.
You need any help?
You can bring cake, it's okay.
You need any help with
It's a joke.
anything right now?
Inside
You know, at this point, we're on track, everything's, yes, sir.
Is there a meeting date at which the table toppers are gonna be assembled
Yes,
or put out?
The-
yes.
What is that date?
The
Yes.
5th, 1
5th.
week before.
before. One
So, 12 minus 7, right?
The February
On the
5th.
5th of February?
Correct.
At that meeting, it would be critical that everyone show.
That's a very good point. Thank you all for attending tonight. Make sure that you re-attend on the 5th. And tell all the other Toastmasters that aren't here to put down the white bread,
Some part of
get over here. On the 5th.
And Saturday, there's a date with Destiny.
26?
26th.
Is that officer training?
Officer training, yes. Mr. Vance, Mike.
Who's going?
Jesus is coming.
Okay.
Rhonda is coming.
Rhonda's coming, and Jeff.
Great.
Wow.
You won't regret it.
And there's 3
Thank
or
you.
4?
4.
4 going. You-
And I want to recognize Jean as well for completing her training as well. Before.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah,
She's done
5,
hers.
right.
5, yeah, well, 5 with Jean. Welcome back. Any comments, experiences that you want to share? You kind of were involved here in the meeting tonight as well, indirectly.
I liked especially the speech of, I don't know, sorry, name I just forgot. Bird.
Thank you.
It made a lot of sense that how he evolved with the Toastmaster, and I liked it. I liked it.
Oh.
Yeah. It's actually funny how Bert did that because we'll leave it
He's
at
going
that.
to join tonight, right?
Yes.
Become a
Please.
member.
Stick around for a few minutes, help us pick up, clean up, sort up, and drive on.